Bewailing of Allah, and Tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatam, the seal of the prophethood given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this live broadcast of Ask Huda, coming to you live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Our first question is from Brother Muhammad. He says, I suffer from depression and it makes me have suicidal thoughts. I know how bad it is in Islam. Would you give me some tips on how to escape it? Depression is an illness. It's a feeling. And there are psychiatrists who have diagnosed this illness and put its symptoms in a very long list, and they said that if you have like 4 of these, then you should seek medical attention. And from an Islamic perspective, Islam looks at it from both angles. First angle is the cause of it, and each person's depression differs from the other. So one might be caused because of marital problems, financial problems, maybe the children in the home, he's unable to straighten them up, his problems at work with the bosses or with the colleagues, his problems with himself or herself, not having the self-esteem, self-confidence, and so on. There can be many reasons. Your past, your sins that are overwhelming you. And in order to be able to treat this, we always ask the brothers and sisters who feel depressed to strengthen their iman. Why is that? See, Brother Muhammad says he has suicidal thoughts. Now, a Muslim never gets these thoughts at all because he knows the consequences of such an action. So, for example, if someone is in debt and someone wants from him his money, he would be doing something illogical if he goes and borrows with a higher interest rate, riba, from someone who would break his knees, for example, if he doesn't pay on time. This is illogical. So when you have so many problems and you kill yourself and you know that Allah will throw you in hell and that the torment of hell is so severe and serious and painful that 1 second in it would not be or cannot be compared to what you're suffering on earth. This is nothing. This is child's play. So as a Muslim, if you have strong conviction, if you believe in Allah, if you believe in the Quran, if you believe in the Sunnah, if you believe that Allah Azza wa Jal has preordained everything before the creation of the universe 50,000 years ago, and that Allah is most knowledgeable, and Allah is most wise, and Allah Azza wa Jal is most merciful, then you should know whatever is happening to you, that this is from Allah, and your belief tells you to feel calm and to get the tranquility. Because once you look at the great messengers and prophets of Allah, once you look at the great scholars of the Salaf, and the torments and the tribulations and the calamities they had been afflicted with, and you compare this to yours, you know that, alhamdulillah, you are in great favors and blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal compared to them. So this helps a lot to remove your depression. And thinking logically helps a lot as well. If Allah Azza wa Jal were to afflict me with a calamity, now let me see the different scenarios I can choose from. Scenario number one, I could bang my head in the wall and cry all night long for my loss or for my calamity. The result? Nothing. A very big scar, maybe, few stitches, and an awful headache. But my calamity will remain, nothing would change. Scenario number two, I could keep on complaining to people. Allah did this to me, Allah did this to me, and look what happened, why people are not suffering as I am, why these disbelievers or these sinful people are not being afflicted like I am. And again, your calamity will not change. However, you will get more and more sins. Scenario number three is that you are content. And if not content, at least you are patient. Content is a higher level. See, you must be patient. You do not complain. Whatever happens, alhamdulillah, I'll try my level best to solve the problem, to get rid of such a calamity or tribulation. But if I'm unable, alhamdulillah, this is what Allah had decreed upon me. What can I do? Nothing. And here is the difference between a believer and someone who does not have the full conviction in Islam. This person is highly rewarded at the side of Allah. And he is elevated in paradise as time goes on. And he's patient. If he adds to that content, when people ask him, how do you feel today? And he's suffering, yet he says, alhamdulillah, I am fine, everything is fine. He's content, he's patient, he never complains. Then Allah Azza wa Jal would reward him, Allah would love him, and most likely Allah Azza wa Jal would find him a way out of that calamity. Because it was a test and this person passed the test. The other two failed to pass the test. Therefore, you have to look into your depression and ask yourself a few questions. Is this self-imposed, or was it suggested by shaitan, by Satan, trying to depress me, trying to sadden me, trying to make my life miserable and the lives of those around me? You will find that this is from shaitan. And Allah described this in the Quran in different locations, telling us that such intimidation is from shaitan. Such sadness is from shaitan. Such worries and whispers are from shaitan. So the best thing for you to do is to put your dependence and your reliance on Allah Azza wa Jal. Feel confident in Allah. Trust Allah Azza wa Jal. When you hold a child, an infant, and you toss the infant in the air, what does the infant do? He laughs its head off. Why? Because he trusts that you're going to grab him. If someone tosses me in the air, I'm going to cry like crazy because I don't trust that person. So you should, and Allah has the highest example, of course, you should trust Allah Azza wa Jal, and this would relieve you from all types of depression you are suffering from, inshallah. Yusuf from Saudi?
Yes.
Yusuf from Saudi? Yeah, Yusuf.
Yes.
Yes, listen to me from the phone, please, and mute your TV.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yes, I want to ask a question concerning Islamic banking.
Okay.
Yes, I am currently working in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and as a medical doctor. So now I am being paid money into a bank in Saudi, Al Hali Bank.
Al
I
what
want
bank?
to ask Al Hali,
Al
NCB.
Ahli.
Al Hali, yes.
National Commercial
So,
Bank. NCB.
yes, National Commercial Bank.
Okay.
I've been given the privilege to take a loan from the bank, which I can use like to build a hospital in my country, Nigeria, or do something good. So I want to ask, is it permissible to take this loan and every month, like 2,000 riyal will be taken from my salary for like 2 to 3 years? Because I asked them, they said it is Sharia compliance and it's Islamic.
Okay. Any more questions?
No, that's my question.
I will answer you, inshallah. Brother Yusuf is asking about acquiring a loan from NCB, National Commercial Bank, or Al Ahli Bank, as known. And he's saying that it is Sharia compliant, and they told him that this is Islamic. And he's asking, is this truly Islamic? Well, each one claims to be Islamic. So you cannot take what they say for its face value until you scrutinize the process that they are doing. First of all, Islamic banks do not lend money, because Islamically, when you borrow money, you have to give the money as it is. Any increase would mean that this is interest, or in Islamic terminology, this is riba, usury, and it's totally prohibited. It's one of the 7 major sins in Islam. So how would the Islamic banks try to divert and avoid falling in such a major sin? They do not lend you money. So you don't get 50,000 riyals and you pay 2,000 per month. They don't do this to you, because this is clear riba with interest. What they do is an actual halal transaction, and that is they sell you something. So for example, if this pen costs in the market 10 riyals, it's mine. I own it. If I sell it to Tom for 10, and for Dick for 20, and for Harry for nothing, no one can complain out of the 3, because it's my pen. I can sell it in any price I want. This is my property. Therefore, what they actually do, the transaction, the halal transaction, it should be as follows. You come and buy this pen from me, and this transaction called tawarruq. So I'll sell it to you, though the market price is 10 riyals, because you are unable to pay it cash. I'm selling or not lending you. So I'll sell it to you for 15 riyals. You agree, we sign a contract, we put the terms, we say that you have to pay 2,000 or whatever a month. The price is fixed at 15. There's no way, even if you go to prison or hospitalized, I cannot as a bank say, oh, you skipped 2-3 months. We have to increase it from 15 into 16. No, the price is totally fixed at 15. This transaction is halal. So what is the catch here? The catch is that not all so-called Islamic banks deal in an Islamic way. They have a Sharia board. Some of them have a Sharia board in a 5-star hotel, and they display to them, listen, we want to sell this, we want to buy this, this is the transaction we want to do. And the scholars look at it as in black and white, and say, yeah, this is okay, no, this is not okay, you have to change this. Khalas, okay, signed, stamped, and delivered. Now, the bank that is not truly Islamic would take this fatwa and hang it on their doors. But the transactions are not in accordance to what is in the fatwa, in the sense. If you go to a so-called Islamic bank that is not dealing Islamically correct, you say, I'd like $100,000 worth of cash. They say, oh, this is un-Islamic. So what to do is, we will sell you something, okay? And then you take that something and sell it elsewhere. Or to make life easier for you, we will sell it for you. So I came to get cash. So I said, well, this is okay. So what do I have to do? Okay, listen, this is a contract whereby we will sell you 1,500 tons of iron or of copper or X number of air conditioners or wheat or rice or whatever. So sign here that you will buy it for 120,000 from us. You have to pay us 120. So I sign. Then they bring me another contract and say, okay, this contract, you authorize us to sell that X amount of money to any buyer who comes in, providing that it is within the range of 100,000. So when I sign, and in 5 minutes time, the 100,000 is in my bank account. Wow, that was quick. This is an invalid transaction. Why? Because I did not see the product myself. I did not acquire the product and take it into my possession. Thirdly, they sold it before me taking it into my possession and without me checking if it exists or not. And there are reports that some of those dubious Islamic, so-called Islamic transaction banks or financial institutions do not have the product. This is why you get the money in like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. This is impossible. If you have like 1,500 tons of rice in a location, as they claim in your warehouse, first of all, you have to go and check it. You went to their warehouse and you found it. Second of all, do not authorize them to sell it because this is not permissible. Take it and put it in your trucks and take it to anywhere else. Even if they advise you, no problem. But you are the one who is actually obliged to take it and possess it, then sell it with any price you wish. This is not happening. So the actual 1,500 tons of rice in that particular plot is being sold and bought from like 30 or 50 branches in the country. And they said, yeah, we have 1,500 tons of rice. And that branch in Dammam says the same, and that in Mecca says the same, that in Qasim says the same, on the same pile of rice. So they sell it and buy it only on paper. And this is totally prohibited. This is riba. No doubt in that. Therefore, my friend Yusuf, I would suggest that you look into their process. Do they have the commodity that they want to sell to you before any commitment from your side? If yes, did you see it? If yes, once you sign it, will you be able to take it yourself personally and dispose of it or sell it elsewhere with a lower price? If yes, then the transaction is halal. Muhammad from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam rahmatullah.
I am from Jeddah, Sheikh.
Yes.
I have already done my Hajj, Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
I intend to do my Hajj for my brother-in-law.
Okay.
Regarding this, I have a few questions. Can I do Hajj Ifrad or does it have to be Tamattu as Hajj Badal?
Okay.
Number two, can I bear the cost of the Hajj or does my sister have to pay for it?
He's deceased, right?
Yeah, he's deceased.
Okay.
And third, if I have time, can I change my niyyah from Ifrad to Tamattu depending on the situation when we reach Mecca because it's going to be crowded there. And lastly, what about if I'm doing Hajj Badal, or what about the Udiyah, the sacrifice that I need to give for myself and my family on the day of Eid?
Okay.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Thank you so much, Sheikh.
You're welcome, Akhi. Barakallah feek. Brother Muhammad, may Allah reward him, wants to perform Hajj Badal. What is Hajj Badal? Hajj Badal is pilgrimage being performed on behalf of someone who has died or someone who is unable to perform Hajj permanently. The condition is that you have to have performed Hajj on your behalf once in your lifetime. So if your fard, your obligation has been done before, previously, then you can do Hajj Badal every year or whenever it's possible for whomever you wish to do it for. This is number one. So he's asking, now if I want to perform Hajj on behalf of my brother-in-law who is deceased, do I have to make it tamattu or can I make it ifrad? The sky is the limit. Whatever you want to perform, you can choose any of the three rituals, whether it is ifrad, whether it is qiran, whether it is tamattu. It's up to you. Number two, does my sister have to pay for my Hajj, or can I pay on behalf of my brother-in-law as a gift? No, definitely you can pay without any problem at all, because who's financing it is not an issue at all. Thirdly, can I perform ifrad, and when I go there, if I see that things are okay, I can change it into tamattu'? Akhi, tamattu' and ifrad are almost the same, except that there is a separate umrah in the beginning. So if you go on the 7th day to Mecca, and I sense from your question that you do not have a permission, that's why you're asking that if I go a day earlier or a day late and there is time for umrah, can I make umrah and change my intention into tamattu'? Or you can, without any problem. However, going there without permission is not permissible, because Allah Azza wa Jal told us in the Quran to obey Allah and to obey the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and those whom Allah made them are rulers. And they did not prevent you from performing Hajj. They simply organized it and said that you have to perform Hajj once every 5 years. So, or if you are a mahram, you can do that with different females of your family. But to go without a permission, this would be sinful, and you don't need this. Finally, he says, if I'm going for Hajj Badal, do I have to slaughter an udhiyah back in my home, Jeddah, my family? This is a sunnah. This is highly recommended for you to do. Aisha from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have one question.
Yes.
On the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, should the Hajis combine and shorten the Dhuhr and Asr prayers in Mina?
Okay. Any more?
That's all.
That's it?
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Aisha's question was about the Hajjis going to Mina. And we know that they spend the 8th in Mina praying Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and Fajr of the 9th. And on the 9th, they go to Arafat. So she is asking, do they combine? The answer is no. The sunnah for those who are residing in Mina for Hajj to shorten 4 rak'ahs into 2 rak'ahs. So this only is possible with Dhuhr, Asr, and Isha. While Fajr and Maghrib are prayed on time as it is, Dhuhr, Asr, and Isha are prayed on time, but instead of 4 rak'ahs, we pray 2 rak'ahs. When you go to Arafah, this is when you combine Asr to Dhuhr. And you pray Asr and Dhuhr together at the time of Dhuhr, 2 rak'ahs. You conclude of Dhuhr, then you 2 rak'ahs of Asr. And when you go to Muzdalifah after sunset, you combine Maghrib and Isha. Maghrib cannot be shortened, but it can be delayed once you reach Muzdalifah, whether at the time of Maghrib or later on. Once you reach Muzdalifah, you pray 3 rak'ahs of Maghrib, then you pray 2 rak'ahs of Isha. This is the only combining in Hajj, and Allah knows best. Dr. Faisal.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, Jazakallah khair for asking.
Sheikh, I have 2 questions.
Yes.
What is the concept of nationalism in Islam?
Okay.
Like, I don't have to elaborate. I think you got what I mean by it.
Inshallah, I'll try. Any specific question about it?
Like, does Islam allow us to be having a Saudi passport or a Kashmiri passport or an Indian passport? Or Islam is one, it is unified. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam abolish this nationalism.
Okay.
So can you throw some light on that? And my other question is,
yes,
what is the importance of praying sunnah prayers?
the 12 sunnahs.
So yeah, like which we pray, suppose in the Dhuhr we are praying first 4 sunnah, then 4 fard, then 2 sunnah.
Okay.
What is the importance of them?
Okay.
Because recently there was a friend of mine, a short incident happened with him. He was not praying sunnah. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came into dreams of his grandmother and told him, asking why he stopped praying sunnah. So can you throw some light on it, please?
Okay, any more questions?
No, Jazakallah khair.
How are you feeling now? If I remember.
Yes, I'm fine, alhamdulillah. I'm fine, alhamdulillah.
Very good, alhamdulillah. Okay, I'll answer your question, Dr. Faisal, inshallah. Dr. Faisal is asking about nationalism. So what is the ruling of nationalism? This is a broad topic. As Muslims, our allegiance is undisputedly to Islam. No Muslim would say, no, Islam comes second. So I'm a Brit, then I'm a Muslim. Or I'm an American, then I'm a Muslim. Definitely not. We are Muslims, then you can look at my nationality afterwards. However, this does not mean that being a Muslim, I must hate my country, I must hate my nationality, I must hate my tradition, my customs. No, on the contrary. As long as it doesn't go against your allegiance, as your Islamic principles, there's nothing wrong in it. So if someone says, I am from the US and I'm a Muslim, but by Allah, I love to eat a fat, juicy steak, and this is part of my heritage, no problem. Go ahead. Someone says, I like to go to Scotland, beautiful scenery, and it makes me feel proud to belong to this country and to the heritage and the traditions that are Islamic and nothing is haram. No problem. What's wrong in that? Being an Indian, I'm a Muslim, but I am originally from India, so I love India and I love the culture, the things and the traditions we have that are not related to other religions or to shirk or to whatever, but it's the customs. No problem. But your allegiance comes first to Islam. And if your preference to your religion is second, or if your love to your country, to your nationality makes you arrogant and look down at people, then you have an issue. For example, I'm a Saudi. If I look down at you because you are a Paki, you are an Indian, if I look down at you because you are a Libyan or an Egyptian, then this takes me straight to hell. The Prophet ﷺ, a person with an atom's weight of arrogance in his heart would not be admitted to Jannah. And this is the beauty of Islam. When we pray in one row, in the first row, and next to me is a person from a different ethnicity, next to the other side, someone who's really poor, doesn't have anything, and we are alike. There's no difference in us, between us. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. How are you, my brother? Alhamdulillah. I don't look at him and say, hey, akhi, you're not Saudi. Go to the second row, please. First row is Saudis. This is total arrogance, and it is not permissible. We have Muhammad, and then we have a break. Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah for answering my question, Sheikh. I just called you a few minutes back.
Yes.
Sheikh, I'm a law-abiding citizen of Saudi Arabia.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah, I fully respect the laws of Saudi Arabia, and I've already paid up for Hajj. The reason why I said, can I change my niyyah, is because of the sheer crowd. You know, when we leave, we can go even in 2 hours to Mecca, or it might take 6, 7, 8 hours to Mecca. That's the reason why I asked whether I can change my niyyah if we go early.
Okay.
My intention was not that I don't have a permit and I'm going. I fully respect the laws of Saudi Arabia, and I'm abiding by it.
Khalas.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Sheikh.
Okay, I'll come back to your question, inshallah, after the break. We have a short break. Stay tuned, and inshallah we'll be right back.
Allah, la ilaha illallah.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Dr. Faisal's second question about the importance of the Sunnah prayer. Usually when we say Sunnah prayer, we are referring to what is known in Arabic as a rawatib. And these are 12 rak'ahs mentioned in the hadith of Habiba and others, may Allah be pleased with them, where the Prophet said, whoever observes 12 rak'ahs per day and night, Allah would build him a house in Jannah. So 2 rak'ahs before Fajr, 4 rak'ahs before Dhuhr, 2 rak'ahs after Dhuhr, 2 rak'ahs after Maghrib, and 2 rak'ahs after Isha. These are 12 rak'ahs. You observe them, Allah Azza wa Jal would build you a house in Jannah. Is it a house per day or for the whole lifetime? Most likely it is observing it. So you have to maintain observing it throughout your life. Now, in the subcontinent, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, etc., MashaAllah, as a Saudi, I envy them because they install in their children the love of these Sunnah. However, they go a little bit to the extreme to the extent that they feel it is mandatory and that their prayer of Dhuhr is not valid if they don't pray the 4 before and the 2 after. And this is extreme. Yes, to upbring your children to value these sunnahs, that's one of the best things you can do. And I am envious whenever I see the people from that subcontinent, especially the children, observing these prayers. And I wish my kids would do the same as well. However, we have to strike the right and correct balance. The Prophet ﷺ, when he was approached by a nomad and he is asking him about Islam, so he told him, among what he asked in the long hadith, tell me about prayer. So the Prophet of Allah told him that there are 5 daily prayers per day and night. And the man said, anything else? And the Prophet said, no, unless you would like to add something voluntarily. So if you want to volunteer and offer these not obligatory prayers, that's good. The man said, by Allah, I will not add a single thing to it. And the Prophet said, if you want to look at someone from the inhabitants of paradise, look at this man. Which means that the Sunnah prayers are not mandatory. They're not obligatory. So if you pray only the 5 fard daily prayers, that's sufficient. However, you lose a great deal of reward because our prayers are not perfect and they need to be completed and the shortcomings need to be addressed, and this is done by offering the 12 rak'ahs of the Sunnah. As for the vision your friend's grandmother saw, I don't have any knowledge in dreams, but it can be taken as a reminder that you should go back and observe these Sunnah prayers. Jamal from Saudi.
Hello.
Yes, Jamal.
Yeah. I have a question that when I was doing Aqiqah for my son at home India, Maulvi came and he did a slaughter to the goat from his left hand. One of the goat with his left hand instead of right hand. The second time when he was doing, I told him do it with the right hand. So that Aqiqah is valid, is it okay?
So the person who slaughtered used his left.
Yeah, used his left hand. He was I can say he was a Maulvi, means he was, but he didn't know, I don't know why, but he did it from the left hand.
I will answer you, Sham.
And I have a second question, please.
Yes.
One more thing, I have taken loan from this Al-Raj Bank for certain purpose. So is it halal or not?
Okay. Did you watch the beginning of the show?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Akhi. Brother Muhammad from Saudi called again to elaborate a little bit, and he's a law-abiding citizen, alhamdulillah, and he has obtained the permission, but he is afraid of the crowd that he would not be able to perform his tamattu', and he is afraid that he may not reach there on time. Akhi, as I said, the sky is the limit. It's up to you. If you say labbaik Allahumma hajj and you went in and you found out that there is sufficient time and you would like to switch it into umrah, so you make tawaf and sa'i, cut your hair, then you enter again into the state of ihram for hajj, this is totally permissible. And if you want to continue, this is totally permissible, inshallah, without any problem. Jamal from Saudi Arabia says that, and mashallah, all the callers are from Saudi Arabia. We don't have any international calls. Jamal says that when he, in India, was sacrificing for the aqiqah for his newborn boy, the butcher who was doing the slaughtering used his left hand to slaughter. There's no problem using your left, your right. It's up to you. The problem is, the prohibition is for you to eat using your left hand or to drink using your left hand. But to slaughter, there is nothing wrong in that, inshallah. His second question was about a loan he obtained from a Rajhi bank. To my knowledge, the Rajhi bank has a Sharia board like all other Islamic banks, but it has a Sharia department as well. What's the difference? Sharia board are scholars who don't work for the bank. They're not on the bank's payroll per se. So they don't come in the morning and leave in the afternoon. They meet once a week and then once every couple of months, and they have a Sharia board. Like the board of directors, they don't work for the same company, but they meet every now and then. But the Rajhi Bank has an extra edge where he has a department for auditing, implementing, and checking the implementation of the Sharia instructions, the Sharia board's instructions, and to govern it. And this gives them a very good edge over the others. So if I'm an employee, if I'm a paper pusher, and someone comes to buy something or to borrow something, and I say, yeah, it's okay. They look into my transaction and says, no, this is not okay. The way you did it is wrong, and you have to rectify it. Other banks don't have this. So inshallah, their transaction is halal. Noor from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum, ya Shaykh.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Can I ask that, is there any basis in the Quran or Hadith about that Isa sallallahu alayhi wasallam would go back to earth before the Day of Judgment?
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay.
Shukran.
You're welcome. Noor says, is there any reference in the Quran that shows us that Prophet Isa, peace be upon him, will return back to earth? There is. And if you look into Surah An-Nisa, at the end of it, you will find this mentioned. And you'll find that Allah mentions that those who disbelieved will believe when they see him coming. And this might not be crystal clear about this descension to earth, but the Sunnah is overwhelmed with it. And it is an article of faith to the Muslims that Isa, may Allah peace and blessing be upon him, will descend at the end of the time. He's the one who's going to kill the Antichrist, known as Ad-Dajjal. He's the one who's going to rule with our Prophet's Sharia law. He will not bring any new law. He will break the cross. He will kill the swine. And he will cease to take the jizya. The jizya money will not be taken anymore from the Christians or from the Jews. They have no other alternative but to accept Islam. So we believe in this, and the Sunnah is has talked about this a lot, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Muhammad from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam rahmatullah.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, Jazakallah khair.
Barakallah feek. I want to say that we are glad to have a Saudi English speaker who calls to Islam in this channel.
Barakallah feek.
And also, I encourage you to keep on with this program.
Jazakallah khair.
Wa iyaakum. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So Brother Muhammad did not have a question. Jazakallah khair for his encouragement. Selma says, do you advise me to accept a guy in marriage who's working for a corporate bank? Previously, he was working for an Islamic bank and plans to return to it. This is your personal preference, Selma. I would personally not advise you to or not to marry him. There are a number of factors that governs answering your question. Number one, your religious commitment. Are you classified as religiously committed girl, in the sense that everything you do is according to the Quran and to the Sunnah? If yes, then this man is not good for you. If not, yet you pray, you observe the hijab, but like everyone else, you have your ups and downs. In this case, we have to look at this individual. Why did he leave an Islamic bank where he knows banking and he knows that this is halal income and go to a conventional riba-based bank? This is a big question mark on his religious commitment. Because obviously, a person who does not care about working in an Islamic bank or a riba-based bank, his religious commitment is shaky. Even if he has a beard, even if he prays in the masjid, the income itself is scary. So I cannot answer your question. You have to look into all these different factors and also weigh your choices. If you are someone who is over 30 and the suitors are less and less, it is not like when you're like in your teens or your early 20s and you have a lot of potentials for you in the future. So I hope this answers your question. Anika says, if I start reading a surah from the middle, in case of a big surah, for example, Surah Al-Baqarah, do I need to say, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim, and then Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, or only A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim? First of all, the Basmalah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, is only recited when you begin from the beginning of the surah, in 113 surahs. Of course, we excluded chapter 9, which is Surah At-Tawbah, that does not have Basmalah. So you never say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and then you say Bara'atun min Allah. You say A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim, Bara'ah. Now, whenever you want to recite the Quran, whether from the beginning, from the middle, or from the end, it is sunnah and highly recommended for you to seek refuge in Allah from a shaitan al-rajim. So you say, A'udhu billahi as-sami' al-alim min ash-shaytan al-rajim, or A'udhu billahi min ash-shaytan al-rajim. If you're beginning to recite from the beginning of the surah, you say afterwards, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. If it is from second ayahs onwards, no, you don't say. You simply say A'udhu billahi ar-Rajim and go on. Abdullah from Sudan.
From Sudan.
Yes, Abdullah.
I'm from South Sudan.
Yes, Yahi, what can I do for you?
I just wanted to ask a question. So like in South Sudan, we don't have an Islamic bank.
Okay.
And then if I want to put my money in saving account, is it allowed or is not allowed in terms of Islam?
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah. Brother Musa from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Okay, I have a question regarding asking for help in the mosque. We have had the experience of Muslim brothers coming, either they are blind and they will stand up in the mosque and say, I need money, or I don't have food to eat. Please give me sadaqah. Is that allowed that in the mosque, a Muslim should stand either a beggar, blind, or people to say, please give me money?
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah. Abdullah from Sudan says that we don't have an Islamic bank. So is it permissible in southern Sudan to deposit our money in a saving account? The answer is, if the saving account would give you riba, would give you interest, the answer is this is prohibited. You have to deposit your money in a current account where there is no interest occurring, and deposit it on your money. But if the whole bank gives interest, whether it's a current account, saving account, a deposit, whatever, in this case, you are forced to deposit your money in that bank, because no one would say, keep your wealth in your home. It would be endangered and people would probably rob you. So in this case, for necessity, it is permissible for you to deposit it there, but the interest that they give you, you must take it and dispose of it in halal means for charity, for poor, etc. Musa from Nigeria says that, what's the ruling on begging in the masjid? We have blind people, hungry people, standing after salat saying that I'm blind, I'm sick, I need... This is prohibited. This is not permissible in Islam. The Prophet ﷺ saw a man standing in the masjid and say, I've lost my camel that looks so and so. And the Prophet told him, may Allah not return your camel back to you. And he saw another man selling an item. And the Prophet said, may Allah make your trade into loss, because masjids are not made for this. But if this person stands near the doors of the masjid without talking, without saying anything, and people could relate that he is in need and give him money, no problem. So for that individual to beg is prohibited. For you to give money, even if he begs, and you believe that he is telling the truth, is highly recommended, because Muslims should be united and not entitle their brothers to beg. We should look for the poor, and we should help them to the best of our ability before they extend their hands asking for something. We should look for them and suffice them the humility of asking by giving them before they do so. Muhammad from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I have a couple of questions. I would like to ask you this, in Ramadan,
yes.
In Taraweeh, is it necessary to finish Qutb Quran?
Okay.
And the second question is, there is a musalla next to my house, around 200 meters. So it's a residential block building. The owner have made a long lobby, only 2 saf, but the imam is standing on the extreme right, a little bit inside. There is opening, so he made a musalla, a microphone there. Then after that, 2 musallas. So people are standing 2 rows. The imam is on the extreme right. So there is no place, after that, there is no 3rd row or something like that. It's a residential building, So is it permissible to offer prayers there? Or shall I go to the masjid, which is twice the distance from this musalla?
Okay. I will answer you, inshallah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia says that, is it a must to finish the Quran in Taraweeh prayers? The answer is no. It is not a must at all. Secondly, the imam does not stand in the middle of the row due to the structure of this prayer hall, which is in a residential building. So is it permissible for him to pray there? The answer is yes. Your prayer is valid. It's best that he stands in the middle, but if due to restraints and restrictions due to the design of the prayer hall, that he is unable to do this, then the prayer is valid, insha'Allah. Masjid, and there is a shrine of a saint near the masjid, but completely outside the masjid. I'm not sure that was the masjid built to venerate that grave or not. Now, is it allowed for me to pray in this masjid? If the masjid is totally outside the walls, let me rephrase that. If the grave, if the shrine is totally outside the walls of the masjid, you can pray there. But if it is within the walls of the masjid, whether it's in the back or in the front, you have to know which one came first. And in both cases, I personally would never come close to such a masjid. Why? I would rather pray home rather than praying in such a place. And Ali's question about his mom seeing a person seeing a dream and telling her that your son has to give sadaqah. And he's asking, is it permissible? Giving sadaqah all the time is permissible, but basing it on a dream that a person saw and related it to your mom, this is, it can be right, it can be wrong. So no, you're not obliged at all to pay anything or to give anything, but we always encourage people to give sadaqah, and sadaqah is all the time something positive. And finally, Jamila says, what is the Islamic ruling on Swiss gold business? This is a long question, and I hope that I do not forget and answer it next week, the first question to answer, inshallah. And I'm afraid that our time is over, so until we meet next time, I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
A is for Allah, nothing but Allah. Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, bewaring of Allah. And Tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatam, the seal of the prophethood.